Hey guys, my name is Koushik and welcome back to LetCode. In this video, we are going to create a small Flutter application. Very simple concept. So whenever we have to send message in WhatsApp to anyone, we have to store their contact, right? But just in case if you want to send a message to anyone for a temporary and we don't want to save the contact, we can do that. Okay, so with the help of WhatsApp API, we can send message to anyone without storing the number. Okay, so it's going to be very simple. I'll just show you the app entirely, how to build everything. Okay, so what we are going to build is actually a app where we have a text box and we'll have a button. Once we click on that, if it's going to be negative scenario, that means I didn't have any number here, um, and it's going okay. So just in case if I type something like this one, so if it will check if the number is valid or not. If it's not valid, it will throw us the snack bar, and if the number is valid, let's say I'm going to give a valid input. Okay, and once I click on the tab button, it will take me to my WhatsApp, and from there I can just send a message without storing the number. Okay, I hope you got the idea, and for this we are going to use this pub package called URL launcher, and let's start now. Let us create a new project. Before that, make sure that you have the all the dependencies, like we have setted all the data SDK in your VS Code, the plugins, and in the environment variables. If you don't know about all this, kindly watch my first video. I will leave a link in the card. You can check that. Let's begin now. Okay, so first I'm going to bring up my command prompt here, and I'm going to say Flutter, and then I'm going to say create, and we'll just name this like very simple WhatsApp underscore utility. Okay, so the project is created. Now let's open this in our VS Code. So I'm just going to type code dot, so that will bring up my VS Code here. And let's go to our main dot, and within that I'm going to almost everything other than the void main. Okay, so let's select and delete everything. Okay, now here I have to create the first my app, so we'll just use a stateless class for that, and the shortcut is stls, and then we'll just name this one here. Okay, now let's run this in debug mode, and we'll see the screen.
2,000 years later.
It took long, but finally the app is installed, and we are not able to see anything because we just have a blank container. So what we'll do, we'll just change this to material app, and then within the material app we are going to give some title first. So let's make this like WhatsApp utility, and then we are going to give the home, and we are going to create a home here. So we'll just create the constructor, and let's create this time we are going to create a stateful widget or the stateful class, and the name is going to be home. So whatever we have called, not here, sorry for that. So whatever we have called here, we have, I mean called here, we have given that name. Okay, and here we are getting some errors. We will see that in a moment. Before that, let me hide. I think it's got stuck, so I'm just going to stop this, and we'll be debugging this again. Okay, so the app is up and live. You can see that here we have this kind of like debug thing, so we can understand that okay, this guy is working basically, right? Okay, now let me bring this. So instead of this container, I'm going to bring up the scaffold here so that we can have a app bar, and we are going to create a new app bar, and within the app bar, let's get a title. So I'm going to give the text here, and let's name this like WhatsApp utility. Okay, so here we can see that we got this title WhatsApp utility, and we got a blank page, right? Okay, now within the scaffold, we'll create a body here, and then we are going to have a container, or else we can have a, okay, let's go with the container first. So we are going to create a container, and within the container I'm going to create a child, and the child is going to be column. So what I wanted exactly is first one text input field and second one button. Okay, so to align those two, I can use the column. So the column will like have multiple childrens. Okay, so multiple widgets basically. So first widget is going to be text field here, and then the second one is going to be flat button. So we can create a flat button, and okay, seems like it's deprecated. Probably we can check with a raised button maybe. um, okay, that is also deprecated, so let's read the documentation. Probably they will say something. um, okay, so use elevated. Okay, so we are going to use the elevated button here, and that should be also very same only, I believe. So let's go and do that. So here the record one is basically child is triggered. Okay, so we are going to give on press. So on press, as of now, we'll just write a simple print function, and then we'll have a child is going to be icon. Okay, so within that I need an icon here, and icons dot send. So we'll just give like a send button here. Okay, okay, fine. Now let's go and write something within this. Before that, let me close it properly, and here I'm going to say print tabbed. Okay, so as soon as I do the click here, it should give me in the console. So let's check. I'm going to clear it up, and I'm going to click on that. So here you can see that it says tabbed. Okay, so as of now, our text input field is there, and the send button is there. Okay, so once I click on the send button, I have to implement a logic uh, that should send the, I mean, grab the number from the input text, and it should send the message to the WhatsApp, right? So we'll see that in a moment. Before that, let us give some to this input field, text field. Okay, okay, first we will decorate it. Decoration in the sense, we will say like how we want this guy to be look. Okay, so here I'm going to say like text decorations, I believe. um, it should be input decoration. Okay, so we'll just call the input decoration, and within that, let's see what are the options. So we have so many options here. So first of all, we'll leave a hint text. Hint text in the sense like a placeholder. Okay, so I will say like enter number. Okay, or else we can give the number format, like how the number should be. It should be 10 digit. So I'm just going to give some like this one. Okay, so as soon as I save, you can see that we got something like this, but this is very very like edge to the screen. Okay, so I just want some padding. So in the container we can have the padding here, so that's the reason I have used the padding instead of container. Of course I can use the padding widget as well, but anyway, that's fine. Okay, and 10.0, I think that is pretty much enough. Okay, so we have a like all the sides, the left, right, top, bottom, all the sides we have like 10 spaces. Okay, then what we want to do, so this looks very empty. So as soon as I click on that, I want something to be. Before that, we'll just change this. So instead of this number, I mean alphabetic keyboard, I want this to be number keyboard. Okay, so we can use the decoration for that, and within the decoration here, right, so we will have the comma, and we'll say like not within this, here I have to say. Okay, so here I have to say like what is a keyboard type, and I'm going to say keyboard type uh, input type should be, yeah, input type with number. Okay, so this is the guy I want. Now let's go and first of all disable this one. Let's go and click this one, and it's not working again. We'll just do the restart. Okay, and let's click on this. Hopefully, yeah, it worked, right? So sometimes the hot reload doesn't work, so in that case you have to do the full reload, I mean restart, and that should work fine. Okay, yeah, so next, change this input type. So what I want is basically like kind of label. So for that, within the decoration we can add a label here, label text, and the text is going to be like enter phone number. Okay. Okay, so here you can see that we got the central phone number, and of course if you want to change the font size, everything, we can still do that, but as of now this is fine. Okay, and one more thing I want is basically here in the front I want to have a like phone icon. Okay, so here this is going to be my prefix, and here I have to say the prefix icon, and then we'll use the icon like icon then followed by icons dot phone, I think. Yeah, phone will look good. Okay, so here you can see that we have now um, it should work. Let me save it around. Yeah, so here you can see that we have a phone, and then we got this label, we got the hint text that is nothing but a placeholder, and we got a button. Okay, this is fine as of now, but what are the value I'm going to type here, right? So for example, if I'm typing my phone number, let's say that something like this, then I have to take this number so that I can pass it to my here, right? So on the on page we are going to call the WhatsApp API, so for that I need this number to pass, right? Now let's see how to get that. Okay, so here what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a controller first. It's not find, it should be finals, and then we are going to say import controller, text input controller. Okay, what is that? I just forgot the name, let me check. So here I know that in the text field we have a controller, and this controller type is basically text editing controller, so we can just copy and paste over here. Okay, yeah, so this is how we have to learn. So don't see the documentation always. I mean, that's a good practice, but you don't have to Google it always. Most of the time if you just mouse over, you can understand here itself the doc is already there, so probably you can make use of it. Okay, so I'm going to assign this to here, and yeah, we are pretty much good. Okay, now let's see how we are going to get. So instead of this print statement and tabbed, I'm going to bring up my controller, and I'm going to take the text from there. Okay, so here I'm going to type like 1 2 3 4 5 6 something, and then I'm going to tab, and let's bring up our terminal, and here you can see 1452. Okay, let me just clear it up again, and I'm going to just clear and maybe give some random number and tap on this. So here you can see whatever the number we typed, we are able to get it. Okay, so that's it, very simple concept. Using the controller we can get the input data. Okay, it can be number, string, whatever you want the data to be. Okay, yeah, as of now it's fine. So let's create a function. Okay, so I'm just going to create a function like send message, send message, and we'll pass the context as well because we might need the context. So let's create this one. So after this widget, right, so after this widget we are going to create that. Okay, so here the brackets end. Okay, so we have created a function called send message, and we have to receive this context. Okay, okay, so here we are going to get the text, right? So here first let's store that. So I'm going to say controller and dot text, and we'll store that. So var text equal to, and then what we are going to do is we are going to write a negative scenario as well. So for example, if I don't enter any number, and if I try to print, I mean tap this button, I don't want the API call to happen, right? So it's useless, right? So we can write a simple if condition here. If the text dot length is going to be lesser than 10. Okay, if the length is 10 lesser than 10, that means of course the Indian number should be 10 digit. If it's going to be less than 10, sorry for that, then I want to show a error. Okay, I want to show a exception, I mean kind of error message. Okay, so for that I'm going to use the snack bar. Let's create that. Okay, so I'm going to create final snack. um, Snack bar is nothing but a small kind of toast message from the bottom. Okay, let me show you. Okay, so I'm just going to create a snack bar here, and then we have to pass the content. So content is nothing but a widget, and we'll use the text here, and I will say like enter valid mobile number. Okay, and we have to use this one. But for that, what I have to do is I have to use the scaffold message here, because snack bar can be visible on the scaffold only. Okay, so scaffold message dot off, and here we have to pass the context, and then dot show snack bar, and within this we are going to pass our snack bar. Okay, so that's it. It's pretty cool, neat and clean, and we'll just copy and change this guy. Okay, now let's check that. So here I don't have any number now, and I'm going to click on this tab, and here you can see that enter valid mobile number. We got this, right? So this is like dismissible. If you want dismiss, you can just click on that, or else after a few seconds it will dismiss automatically. Okay, so that is the beauty of snack bar. Mostly we can use that for kind of like error message showing, or maybe some positive or any kind of notification. Okay, and if you want, you can change the color as well. So background color we can change. So let's go and do that. So after the context, I'm going to change the color. So color, background color, and I'm going to say colors dot we'll use red, because red is mostly used for negative scenarios. So if I click on that and that doesn't work, why? Okay, let me save again, and we'll try to do that again. Okay, maybe we'll just try to restart this one, and we'll check again. Okay, and why this keyboard is always up? Yeah, so here you can see that we got the red with the message properly. Okay, fine as of now. Okay, but what if the number is valid? Okay, so if the number is like 10 digit properly, right? So for example, let's give the number properly. We'll check the scenario as well. So I'm just going to type some number here, 10 number, and I'm going to click on this. And this time we didn't get the scaffold, because of course the condition doesn't match. Okay, just to make sure, we'll just type a we'll just use the print statement to check that. We'll just say like correct number. Correct number in the sense, we are not checking whether the mobile number is valid or not. What we are checking is basically the length of the number. Okay, now let's go and enter. So here you can see we got correct number, because the length is 10. If I delete one digit and if I try, it should bring up the snack bar. Okay, so we have somehow handled the negative scenario as well. Okay, now we are going to write the actual logic. For that, we have to add one dependency. Okay, so go to your pubspec.yaml, and here we are going to add the dependency. So the dependency we are going to use here is URL launcher. Okay, so you can just type URL launcher Flutter, and it will take you to the pub means not that pub, this is the Flutter pub. Okay, and go to the installing, and here you can see either we can do this or we can add the dependency. So I'll just copy this dependency and paste over here. Okay, and you can just give Control S, so that will go and download all the dependencies for you. Okay, and one thing you have to remember, if you go to the versions, you can see that this guy, that is the latest one we are using, and that's need a minimum .sdk of 2.12. Okay, so make sure you have the latest version of dart, or else probably you can, whatever the versions you have, based on that you can just copy this version number. Okay, because I tried with this one and I was using the older version of dart, and it didn't work. Okay, so it was throwing error. Then I checked this and I got to know that we have to use the version specified over here. Okay, and yeah, I think the dependency is added. Now let's go to our main dart again, and where's my visor? Yeah, okay, just in case if you don't know, this mobile screencasting is known as visor application. Okay, um yeah, so here within the else conditions we are going to do that. So for that, Of course, we have to know the code. So let's go to the README, or maybe we can go with the example as well, but here itself we will get it. Okay, so very simple one. Here we have this function like await can launch. So we will check like whether we can launch that. If it's possible, then we are going to launch it, or else we are going to throw. So this is basically your ternary operator, nothing much. And this is your async function. Okay, so I'm just going to copy that and I'm going to paste over here. Okay, and then we are getting something because we have to import it, right? So you can just use quick fix, and then you can import the library, and that's it. Now we have to pass the URL. So URL is this guy basically. I will take that, and here we can store it. Okay, so this is going to be my string here. So var URL, and this is the URL. Okay, so here you can see that we have already appended the 91 is nothing but the Indian phone code, like +1 for US and 91 for India. Okay, what we have to do, we have to call this guy here over here, and that's it. Okay, and then of course not only the URL is enough, of course we have to pass the number. So whatever the number we are going to get, we have to pass it here as well, right? So I'm going to pass the text here. That will be easy little more, and here we are going to get that, and here we are going to do the concatenation. Okay, so plus text. Okay, so what are the number we are going to get from the controller, that is from this input field? We are going to use that here. Okay, yeah, that's it. We are pretty much done. Let's do the check. Before that, let me switch to my WhatsApp profile. So I'm using like another user here so that I won't get any notification. Let me do that quickly. Okay, okay, so the app is ready now, and here you can see the red color. This is not something like error message, you don't get it. So this is basically we are using red color, so it's showing like how it will be visible on the screen. Okay, so that's VS Code editor features, not a like error message or something. Okay, okay, so our utility app is ready now. What happened? Yeah, so yeah, so I'm going to click on this button. So of course there is no number, we will end up with some error message, SnackBar basically, and I'm going to tap with some other numbers, and I'm going to click on that. Of course the length is not matched, so it will throw the SnackBar. Okay, then I'm going to pass a valid number here, that is my number, and if I click on the send button, of course you can see that it is asking me to open the WhatsApp. You can set to always open, so that it won't ask you again and again. Okay, um, okay, let's give tap once again, and here you can see that it says like could not look up the phone number because it is too short. Okay, so that's bad. Let's go. What is the number here we have? Okay, one small silly mistake. So here we are checking like can launch, and then here we are passing only the URL, not the text, right? So that is the problem here. So I'm just going to copy this guy and do the concatenation here as well. My bad. Okay, now let's go and try to click on this button, and of course it should bring up to my chat. So basically it's I'm sending message to myself itself, but of course if you don't have any of the number, I mean if the number is not saved in your contact, of course definitely you can send that. Okay, so that's it. It's a very quick tutorial and easiest one, I think. So you can do so many things here. Probably you can just here we can have a actions bar, and we can have a like help menu. Like once we click on that, we can show some alert, and we can show to the user like what this application is for, or just bring your creativity. You are using probably lots of app, just try to uh, mimic the same kind of UI. Okay, so that will be really helpful. Okay, so the code is very simple. I'm not going to do the recap again, but of course this launch URL basically a function where we are checking can launch in the sense we are checking like whether the URL whatever we are going to pass is appropriate or not. If it's appropriate, then we can do the launch, so that will bring up that particular application, or even you can use like similar things to send load any website, or you can use the mail to, or you can use the tell to make a call to someone, SMS to, you can use the SMS to bring up your SMS application and all the other stuff. Okay, so I will just leave all this link in the description, you can check it from there. And also I will leave the entire code base in my GitHub repository, so probably you can check the entire code base. Okay, okay, let me show you how to install this. So we are running in the debug mode, so once we close the application might not work very properly. So I will show you how to build this application and how to install. It's very simple. Just go to your project folder and bring up the command prompt, or you can do it from your VS Code as also. And here we have to say like Flutter and build apk dash dash release. So that dash dash release means it will compress the size, I believe. So it will take a little while, but yeah. Okay, so the build is successful and the app size is around 16 MB, and it is stored in the output folder. I mean build app output and this one, right? So let's go there. So build and app and outputs, and after the output Flutter APK, and here you can see that we have this app.release.apk. If you see the debug version, it's more of like 63 MB and the release version is 16 MB. So that is the use of dash dash release, and we can install this guy. Okay, so let's open the terminal here. So cmd, and here I'm going to say Flutter install, and then I'm going to say the release version. Okay, so Flutter app dash release. Okay, and hit enter. So the command is Flutter, then followed by space, then followed by app, the app name basically. Okay, so it will uninstall the older version, that is your debug version, and it will install the newer version. Okay, so that's it for my side. Thanks for watching. If you have any queries, please do let me know in the comments. I will try my best to make you understand. Okay, so see you in the next one very soon.